It's the weekend. It's Mailbag. We are recording again on a Friday night as usual now. And I'm joined this week by Dan and Pete. We will get straight into it as ever. We do all the preamble beforehand where we say, "You okay?" And we have our little story. We do all that beforehand. So you're not missing out on much. Don't worry. We're just being genial to each other. We don't really like each other, really. But anyway, here we go. We will kick off with a question from Ben. After seeing Kale's Insta story at Finch Farm, I'd like to know which former Everton player you'd most like to see taking training for the day. And he's put in brackets wrong answers only, but I'll accept any answers for this. Anyone got any thoughts off the bat?
I'd like to see Nick Barmby just in training for a day. And let everyone know what he's all about. Force him to take part in training.
Funny you should mention that. I was doing a little bit for Liam's Good Times podcast, which if you've not listened to, it's really good. You pick out a season and just pick it apart from start to finish. It's dead good. But he got me on to talk a little bit about the 97-98 kits. And we got onto the subject of Nick Barmby, and it was like, it's still there, isn't it? It's still there. It still stings.
Actually, do you know what? It'd be a double, because I'd get Nick Barmby back, but I'd also get Duncan Ferguson back. And then someone else, like Richard Gough, some proper alas to just go through. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to have a triple whammy. Big dunk to go through Nick Barmby for all of us.
That would have to be an open day at Finch Farm as well, that wouldn't it?
Yeah. Do that, Goodison. In fact, open Bramley Moore. That's how you open Bramley Moore.
Yeah. You could have had Paul McCartney. You could have had Atomic Kitten.
Yeah.
But no, we're just going to crunch Nick Barmby in the middle of the pitch. That would sell out. Yeah,
he just has to make it from one end of the pitch to the other. We all volunteer. And that's the opening.
Have you seen that thing? I don't know if it was some Spanish club or some South American club where you've got to run from one end of the pitch and people throw lassos at them.
Yeah.
That, but with 2 footers.
Yeah, 2 footers and German shepherds. He's got to wear a meat suit.
I'm all over that idea, 100%. Dan?
Maybe it's because of my follically challenged perspective, but I could go for 100% bald guys because there's some classics, but I'm going to go for some great hairdos. So I'd have Paul Bracewell, Abel Xavier, and the magnificent and often forgotten John Paul Kissock, who I thought had one of the finest heads of hair I have ever seen. It was like a young Bob Dylan caught in the rain. It was incredible.
He invented the cat wig.
He was the OG cat wig, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. Mark 1. So yeah, I mean, Abel Xavier, that sort of Neptune Poseidon thing that he had going on, that whole kind of King Canute rising up from seaweed kind of thing was just stunning. And of course, another cross the park character. And Paul Bracewell had that classic quintessential sort of spiky on top, lock down the back thing, didn't he? You know what I mean? And he was a handsome fella as well, and
his hair was incredible.
Footballer. But he had an absolute quintessential 80s haircut.
So he like, if you see like Panini Stickers album, that's like the sort of go-to now, isn't it? Yeah. So his 85 one, he's got the wedge and the mullet, which is just a tremendous hairdo. Then by 86 with the bib kit, he's got like the spike on the top and a little mullet.
A little bit. But he wasn't a straight up spike. He kind of just gave it a slight part.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
He looked like he could be an Aztec camera. He had that sort of like, you know, that little kind of thing. But yeah, I saw a picture of him the other day, and that whole, I mean, you know, we're old, we reminisce. It's all we've got. But you know, that kit and that hair and the gel and just everything about it. You know, when you didn't know what footballers got paid and you didn't care, they probably didn't care that much either, to be totally honest.
Well, just on that, just quickly, when I went to Belfield in 85 or 86, Paul Bracewell had a white Ford Capri.
Oh,
right on the side had his name and It was like the
Dealership.
Ford garage that had donated the car to. So back then, footballers got cars donated.
That's
but
it. Yeah.
The garage would put the name of the garage and their name on the car, so you were under no illusions whose car it was and who'd given it. But yeah, they had a white Ford Capri.
Oh, Paul Bracewell drives a Capri. Yeah,
Incredible.
Oh,
Rooney had a Ford KA, didn't he?
that's it. Yeah.
That was the one with, was it the Rune 18?
That's it. Yeah.
Down the park end.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even get into that now.
Well, it looked like a pedal car when he got it, didn't it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I was thinking Archie Knox's baseball bat for this for some reason. That just popped into my head.
With
Right,
razor
Archie
blades,
Knox,
with razor blades in it.
Yeah, Archie Knox is involved with the Nick Barmby run of death.
Oh, definitely, yeah. 100%.
He's in command.
Kind of leads on to the next question from Stephen. He was watching Scooby-Doo with his son. And the story was, and this is the most Everton thing ever. Scooby-Doo was way ahead of its time. The ghost of a former football player was haunting the team after being booed off by home fans. Scooby-Doo knew.
Yeah.
Who's coming back to haunt Goodison on the last home game?
Amadou Onana. Penalty.
We've got Southampton, haven't we?
Oh, have we? Okay. So,
Yeah.
it can't be Che Adams anymore, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
is that Armstrong? Armstrong still playing for them, doesn't he? He always has a worldie against us, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. But yeah, last game. I mean, it can be any player from sort of anywhere, really.
Oh, Les Ferdinand always haunts us. I remember Les Ferdinand. Wasn't he on loan at Leicester or something? He was about 50, and we played them in the cup, I think. And I'm sure we won like 4-2 or 4-1. He came off the bench and scored, and he was literally. I mean, he was collecting his pension at that point, and he still came on and scored. But I just remember being a kid and being like, any time he got anywhere near Goodison, I was terrified. Like,
well, this is the maddest thing is, I was speaking about this the other day as well. When QPR beat us 3-0 in the mid-90s, he didn't score. They beat us 3-0 and Bradley Allen got a hat-trick, and Les Ferdinand did not get on the score sheet, and we got walloped 3-0 at home by them. But yeah, he was another one like Ian Wright, who just had a habit of constantly scoring against us.
Ian Wright likes Everton, though, doesn't he? He's all right. He's all right, Ian Wright.
Yeah. And everyone likes Ian Wright.
Yeah.
He's sound.
Yeah, we like him. Yeah, but yeah, Les Ferdinand just for one last dance. Who's the other one? Paul Sharner. He was another one, wasn't he? He always used to just like just turn into prime Iniesta against us. Like,
he looks like an osteopath.
What's that?
He looks like an osteopath.
He was the recipient of the greatest dig I've ever seen in my life when Duncan Ferguson took him off his feet at Wigan. I watched that back again recently, and the power Ferguson gets, it's like a 1-inch punch, and he just takes him off his feet and floors him. It's an incredible dig. Oh, that's why I watched it. Was that clip of Steve Watson was doing the rounds again, where he's talking about Ferguson getting sent off at Bolton, and his justification was, I thought it was Kevin Nolan, which is fine. If you give someone a crack because you thought it was Kevin Nolan, that's fine.
He said, sorry, boss, I thought it was Nolan.
Yeah, but then he did his 3-game ban and came back. I didn't realise at the time he came back for Wigan and got sent off again, didn't he? Incredible. Dan, any ideas on who's coming back to haunt us?
Sorry, mate, go on.
No, sorry, Pete, what was that?
I was going to say, I remember it because it was just one of those where we were like, he was on for about 5 minutes, wasn't he?
Yeah.
We were all made up.
He came on as sub,
after his ban. Yeah, he came on as sub. And it was I'm sure he got brought on like for the corner. it was one of those.
It was nothing as well. It was just a little tussle, wasn't it? And he just turned around and proper ribbon.
Proper cracked them.
Yeah. Dan, anyone haunt us?
I was just thinking who's always popped up with a goal. I mean, it was that bloke, wasn't it, from Bournemouth for years, Stanislas, wasn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
The bloke played 4 games a season and just held himself in reserve for the time when he played us. It was like, he's only played 66 minutes this season, and on comes Junior Stanislas, and you just be like, Oh man, but he's gone now, so we don't have to worry about him anymore. So
The thing I was thinking for this was sort of like any players who've like had the most undeserved boos. And I think the name that pops up is probably Steve Sidwell. Was
I
it
don't remember
Sidwell?
booing him.
Was it Sidwell? He failed the medical and then went to Fulham.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Was it not Davis? Davis, wasn't it? The one who went from Tottenham. What was his first name? Davis.
No, we signed Simon Davis.
We signed Simon Davis.
No, the other Davis was another Davis. He was at Tottenham. He was at Fulham.
Was he ginger?
He was like he was a midfielder, and he used to bang goals in, and he failed a medical at Everton because of
Sean Davis. You're right.
Sean Davis.
Sean Davis. That's it. Yeah.
I get him as Sidwell mixed up. Yeah,
Sean Davis.
Sean Davis.
I do a lot of studying for this show, as you can tell. Sean Davis.
Sean Davis.
That's got to be the most undeserved bit of booing ever. Fails a medical, gets booed.
Shit house.
Incredible bit of toffee in that.
I'm trying to think of anyone else who we just took a disliking to. I always remember James McFadden was quite funny when he because when he went to Birmingham before he came back on loan, we played Birmingham. I think we played him in the cup, and he got subbed off, and he got clapped off the pitch, and he gave this like really like ironic clap back. He was fuming that he was getting applauded, and I think it was because when he was at us, he got a little bit of stick for not, wasn't the greatest player for us, I don't think. And it was almost like he was pissed off that the fans were actually giving him a good reception. Probably thinking, I think you like this when I played for you. But then he came back on loan, and he did well, didn't he? Did we sign him on a free as well after that? We got him on a free, yeah.
I think so, yeah. Feels about right.
I like McFadden. He was one of them players where like he was. It took him so long to get that first goal, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't it? And then he scored absolute worldies, and then he went on like a bit of a run, and yeah, I liked him. I
mean, being signed as the Scottish Rooney would not have helped anyone, would it?
No.
The rat tail didn't help either, did it?
It didn't, did it?
Do you know what though? He went worse when he got rid of it. It
was like his Baggio, wasn't it? It was like the divine ponytail.
Well, Kadamati was the same, wasn't he? Do you remember Kadamati was
when he cut his dreads off?
Yeah,
brilliant. And then he took his dreads off, and that was it. And then he started getting form back when he started growing them back.
Yeah. I think the only exception to that rule is Lukaku.
Lukaku,
he never looked quite as good.
Yeah.
But although I don't know, that's a little bit unfair. He never looked quite as intimidating as when he's running around with those dreads. But then when he took those off, he just came back that summer as just the handsomest fella on the planet, didn't he? He just looked incredible.
And then he went to Man United and put on about 5 stone in the summer.
Well, yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Jesus.
Do you remember Fellaini when he got his hair?
Cornrows.
Yeah, cornrows. Yeah. He looked about a foot shorter.
He did, didn't he? Oh God, yeah. To have the luxury of that, though. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Jesus. Stuart's asked. This is a good one. What's your earliest memory of Goodison Park?
Earliest memory.
Mine's an odd one. So, my earliest memory of Goodison Park is seeing Jimmy Greaves walking in, and my dad. So, me and my dad were sat in the Bullens Road where the away fans sitting out for the Tottenham game, and Jimmy Greaves is walking in to do that little bit to go and do the press stuff because we got in obviously really early. I mean, I just shouted the right Greavesy because we'd done St. Greaves at the time. Just give us a little wave and walk around. I didn't have a clue who he was. But it's a nice memory to have to see Jimmy Greaves. That's quite incredible. My first memory of like an actual game was the Man United 5-0. And I've probably bored people to death with this, so I won't dwell on it. But we were in the top balcony for that. And after like jumping up at the Tottenham game when we scored, I said to me, Dad, I don't want to jump up when we score. And we scored 5. And we jumped up for every one of them. And every time I thought I'm going to fall out the stand. Into the main stand, so.
I've never been in the top balcony. I need to go this season.
Oh, definitely.
So if anyone wants to swap at some point for a main stand ticket, I've got lovely seats. Like, anyone wants to swap, let me know if anyone's in the top balcony because I need to go up there before obviously it goes.
Yeah, so, it's like watching a game of FIFA.
Yeah.
Even though if you're in the main stand, it's not actually that much higher. But when you get up there and you sort of see the whole pitch, it is like watching a game of FIFA. It's mad, especially if you get a night game and the pitch is like lit up with the floodlights and it's got that like luminous green. It's incredible.
Does it have escalators?
There's an escalator, yeah.
I need to experience the escalator.
First ever escalators.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Get on.
It's one of our little things, isn't it?
Yeah.
First ever ground to have escalators in it. It's one of the little. First.
I like that.
You will never sing that.
I like that.
Pete's first memory.
I think we've spoken about this on the old New Borough Blue, haven't we? I remember. Yeah, when I was I'm going to sound like a pretentious prick all over again here. But, when I was a kid,
I reckon up the pretentiousness a little bit more. I really
really
go for it. Yeah.
But basically, my first experience at Goodison was from a box. Yeah, my dad had a box when we were kids. We used to go there. Not all the time. He obviously had his season tickets there, and he used to take clients up there. But I remember going to. I think we figured out it was the derby, when Mighty Mo Johnson scored, and I think Beardsley may have got
2-1.
Yeah, and that was where my love for Mighty Mo came from. Probably not anyone else's idol growing up, but yeah, Mighty Mo was the one. I was devastated when he left. But basically, I remember going up there. There was this lovely fella called Bernard, who was this older fella who was like our waiter, if you like, but he was great, and he really looked after us, and it was really great experience, unbelievable. It's the box that hangs down off the main stand, next to the security, like the police box. So I also remember when I was a kid, I used to wander into the police box all the time. I used to just there was like a little corridor outside where we go in, and at the end of the corridor was where the door to go into there was. And I used to just wander in, and I've actually got some photos at home of like taken from the police box, looking into the box, like so.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. I remember being really freaked out though, because he was showing me how good the zoom was on the cameras, and it was like you're talking like early 90s, and they zoomed in on people like in the crowd, and I was like,
whatever you
stuck with me, never misbehave at the match.
We've got some dickhead on the front row of the paddock. Got him. Christ. Yeah.
It literally was like that. They showed us, like, it was before the match, and they showed us on Goodison Road as well. So they were showing us all like the different parts of the ground. They showed us Goodison Road, and they literally were like zooming. And I'd say this is like 90s. God knows what they can do now.
I reckon at the back of the park end, because that's like on the main stand there. I reckon we're a little bit out of their eye shot there, so we can do whatever we want. Dan, what's your earliest memory of Goodison?
Well, for me, I didn't go there. For me, it was watching on the telly from some weird part of the country through the 80s, and just trying to see as much of sort of Kevin Sheedy as I physically could on television. You know what I mean? And seeing this sort of, I didn't go as a kid. I mostly went to Leyton Orient and Spurs and stuff, growing up in London and whatever, and West Ham. But my first game, my parents took me to Goodison Park. It was Gazza was playing for us. So when was that?
2000?
Was it 2000? Yeah, around then.
Yeah. So I was in my late teens, early 20s. No, late teens. So yeah, we went up there on the train, and it was against United. Can't remember the score, but I just remember because it was just that. It was that weird period, wasn't it? The Gazza thing and
Ginola as well.
And that huge kit. That absolutely
it was so David Unsworth's shorts.
That voluminous kit that looked like a parachute.
Yeah.
And I remember
Kev Campbell, Super Kev in his prime.
Super Kev, yeah. And I remember being really excited about Walter Smith. Being really sort of buzzing about this
we
guy,
all were.
This sort of serial winner, you know what I mean? And yeah, that was weird. Gazza and Ginola.
It was so strange, wasn't it?
It was so weird, wasn't it?
When when you think about like the sort of players we got either side of that, that was a really weird blip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like dead strange. So like to bring those lads in at that age.
Well, do you remember what Walter Smith had actually said, hadn't he? And I think John Collins had alluded to it as well, because he signed John Collins. He got Oliver Dacor was in, Marco Materazzi, and it was like, and they were like the marquee signings. And I think John Collins was sold a pup because he was under the impression that he was, you know, he was going to be the first of many big names, and it was going to be this big revolution and loads of money thrown into it. And then the next thing we sold, was it Duncan Ferguson went? Was it around that time?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And it was like, and then obviously we lost Dacor, lost Materazzi after the season. John Collins left, and then again, it was the tightening of the purse strings. That was Peter Johnson, wasn't it? Towards the end of Peter Johnson.
Yeah, he was still there then, yeah.
And he was doing mad things like we paid £1 million for Steve Simonson from Tranmere because which was a record
didn't play for about 2 years, did he?
Yeah, it was a record for a goalkeeper for absolutely years as well. Record English goalkeeper for donkey's years. And he never played, like you say, he never played. We had Paul Gerrard, and it was like, but obviously it was just like a little bit of a fiddle because Tranmere owed him money. Yeah, and he needed to get it out somehow, so he took it out of Everton, threw it into Tranmere, and then took it straight out, and it was like nice one, mate. But yeah, it was a weird time that because I'm trying to think who else played around that time with Gaza and Ginola.
We signed Jesper Blomqvist as well.
Blomqvist.
Yeah.
Around the same time, yeah.
Monies.
Gemmell would have been there then as well.
Gemmell was there.
I thought Scott Gemmell was all right. You know,
I thought he was all right. I thought he was all right.
He done a job, didn't he?
He did a job.
He scored a couple of belter goals. Was it? He scored a couple of belter goals. Was one against Middlesbrough where he hit it on like
one against Newcastle as well.
Yeah, against Newcastle as well. Yeah.
He was all right.
He scored against. Do you remember that time? You know, someone Kadamati before, and he had a bit of a comeback where he scored. Where I think we were down to the very bare bones. Like we literally had 11 players, and I think we started with 6 centre halves. So it was that bad. I think David.
That's like very Walter Smith, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But we had like David Weir at right back and all that. It was mad. And we back to back within a week beat Arsenal 2-0, I think, and then beat Chelsea 2-1. I remember Kadamati scored, and I think Gemmell scored in one of those. Might have been against Chelsea, but or Scott Gemmell certainly played in centre mid, and it was like we had this like weird. It was pretty much we were thinking we're going to get battered and we're going to drop into the relegation zone, and then we somehow picked up 2 wins on the bounce. Those types of times are when I always think about Goodison Park and about how sometimes we need a big game to lift us, and it's those big games where we come up against those types of teams where we're expected to get beat. If you like, when everyone else expects us to get beat, but we kind of go, no, we'll go toe to toe with you. And I always feel sometimes if the season starts off slow at Everton, I always look forward to them big games because it just gives us that little bit of a spark.
It's quite often Arsenal as well, isn't it? So when you think about we always go to Arsenal and get our arses handed to us.
Yeah.
They often come here and get unexpectedly beaten as well. Yeah, that's when it's at its best. We'll move on to the hot topic. So Big Dunk's brought a book out, or he's bringing the book out next year, which should be fun. I hope it includes the anecdote about him getting arrested in Dundee when he punched a fisherman while wearing a lady's earring and a glove. I really hope that story's in there. We need more context, or maybe we don't. I don't know.
He was wearing the glove and the lady's earring, or the fisherman.
Any good book recommendations? It's holiday season as well. People need books to read by the pool or the beach or in the garden. So, any recommendations? I've got a few off people here, but
I've just finished a book that's not exactly jolly summer reading, but it's magnificent. And it's called Killing Thatcher.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, we're all in.
And it's written like a thriller, right? The pace of it is so amazing. You're just like this, going, wow. You know, it's just like, and it's all about. It's completely factual. It's based on biographies by people who were there, various other things. You know, it's basically from all these different sources, and it's about the run up to the Brighton bombings.
Okay, right. I'm definitely in.
And it's written it's written from a perspective of how the IRA kind of went about this. They called them spectaculars. So, you know, their first one was blowing up Mountbatten and stuff like that. And they were like, every now and again, they'd have to do this thing they called a spectacular. So they'd sort of, one that would capture attention, but their ultimate goal was to knock her off. And it's written in such a way that it is like a thriller. Some of it's so mad and so completely wild that you're like the bit where they've blown the hotel up, and there's pieces of quotes from people who were in the building when it went, and there's this guy who basically is in the room above where the bomb goes off, and he says, all I remember is waking up surrounded by dust, falling down a massive hole. Jesus. And he ended up in the basement, and he survived. Yeah. He was on the fifth floor, because she was on the sixth floor, and they got a room below hers, because they were like, right, we can't, because she had this entire section of the sixth floor, which was being renovated just for her. So the IRA got a room down below, so they judged it, so they reckon it would take her room out, basically. And it was on. They planted a bomb and put it on a 28-day timer. So they put it in there a month before under the bath. And it had a 28-day, 16-hour, 42 minutes and 48-second timer, so that it would go off at 2 o'clock in the morning after she got back from the conference, right? And there's this piece of quote from this guy, and he says, I woke up and I was falling down a black hole trying to grab hold of stuff. And him and his wife ended up in the basement. That's and they crazy. Were alive. And the reason why it ripped that huge, if you see the picture, there's a massive V out of the building. Yeah. And it's because where they blew it up, the chimney stacks that weighed like 6 tons collapsed and went through the building, just went straight through the middle and just tore the middle out of it. And there's a whole bit about Tebbit being trapped in the rubble. And all they could see was his hand, basically, and digging him out. And it was just, it barrels along that it doesn't feel like it's a historical thing. And it's so beautifully written. And it's almost like they give you, every single protagonist in it has their own perfectly formed character that you get led into. Even Thatcher, you get really sort of caught up in this sort of, one visioned human being who's like, because the next day after she's been blown up, she continues with the conference. And they sent every single member of the Tory party that was in the hotel. The next day, they shipped him in minibuses to the Marks and Spencers in Brighton to buy them all new clothes and toiletries and blah, blah, blah. Because she was like, I'm not having anybody rock up to the conference looking like shit. So she paid for everybody who'd been blown up and had all their clothes and stuff destroyed to go to another hotel, get tarted up. She took them all over, bought them all clothes, so that it looked like this hasn't phased me. I'm going to keep going, But it's absolutely. I heard about it. Ellis James, the guy who does.
Oh yeah, the boss guy does radio.
He was talking about it last year. And I just got round to reading it in the last few weeks, but I just devoured it. I was just like, it's one of those books you sort of said to Nikki, I'm like, Nick, you need to read this. And my wife's like, I don't want to read a book about the IRA blowing up Margaret Thatcher. Are you mental? And I'm like, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. But it really is. I mean, as I say, it's not a Jilly Cooper. No one's got a stirring in their denim wigwam or anything. But it's an excellent book. Absolutely amazing. Amazing stuff.
Gaffer, give that a go, 100%. Pete?
I'll be honest, I don't think I can top that. There is a new Everton book, isn't there? I've seen someone on Twitter advertising a new Everton book, and I'm sure it's something like Good Times or something like that. Okay. And it's got, if you can have a look up for that, please, Les. And I think it's like the Mashiri years, and it covers.
It's Lyndon, isn't it, from Toffee?
Yeah, is it Lyndon from Toffee?
Yeah, it's his book.
Yeah. So that's piqued my interest. So I think I might have to go for that one.
I think Matt spoke to him about that.
Yeah,
All right,
I've heard
okay.
him on a podcast talking about it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
That's something that, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm one of those. I'm a film buff. I watch films. You know, like that. Like Dan's just explained that book to me, and I'm in my head. I'm thinking that'd make a great little mini series.
yeah.
Although
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably want Quentin Tarantino to direct it so he can change the ending, like he did with Inglourious Bastards, and actually, you know, where they actually managed to kill Hitler.
Yeah, it's called The Unofficial Everton Timeline, 2014 to 2023, The Mashiri Years, by Steve Dickinson and Lyndon Lloyd.
Yeah. Sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely get on that one.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting just to go. I mean, it's mad when you look back at like the last. I mean, even just the last 3 years, when you look at the amount of stuff that's gone on. I mean, some people think that it's really entertaining, going, you know, winning trophies and winning leagues and all that. Yeah.
Doesn't make good telly. Who's asked?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, give us yeah. What we've been through as a fan base is you couldn't write it if it was on something like Ted Lasso or one of them.
Story.
Yeah, Dream Team. You'd think it was far fetched, wouldn't you? Oh yeah, and next week the fans are going to get accused of putting the CEO in a headlock. Oh, and by the way, there's no proof of it. You know, they mentioned it once and then never mentioned it again. You know, yeah.
Even in the last few weeks, the whole kind of like, oh, finally, okay, someone with a modicum of response. Someone's coming in. They own a football club. They've got tons of dough. At least we're getting some sanity, something. We can get rid of this nutter. It's all, and we're all like that, and everybody's doing this, and it's like, okay, it's not perfect, but it's relief, and it's everybody takes a little breath, and everybody breathes out, and it's like, okay, and then it goes quiet, and then we all get panicky because we hate silence, and it's like, so oh dear, and then that one morning last week or whenever it was, I'm sitting here at work, and I see this thing, and at first I thought, oh, it's a parody account. And then I do a quick check and it goes, oh no, it's been pulled. And you're like, what? And then it starts to unravel. It's because of this bloody 200 million quid that could have come from anywhere. And then you're back in it again. You're back in this absolute tumble dryer of emotions. And you can't, there never seems to be a stable period of nothing. It's just like, dun, 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 and you're just like, you do feel as a fan, and I've said it on Twitter a few times, that you just feel sometimes that it is this all worth it, all this shit? Because you just like,
will be one day.
You feel so beaten down by it and so sort of exhausted, because every time you get handed that little glimmer, it's the Half Man Half Biscuit lyric, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. Is the light of an oncoming train. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how it feels. You see the light at the end of the tunnel and you go, oh, it's an Intercity 125 covered in dog shit. Brilliant. And it's just like, excellent. But yeah, you couldn't. And that book, I've heard Lyndon on a podcast going on about it, and it's this quite detailed picking apart of what's led us here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you, as you say, Pete, you couldn't write what's happened. You just
that's it. You look at it and you think, you know, we had Carlo Ancelotti, James Rodriguez. There was a global pandemic where everyone was locked down, which is straight out of a movie anyway. And then the next thing is there's a war in Ukraine. The Russians invaded Ukraine, which had the knock-on effect of us losing our backer. And then you go down that road, and then obviously there's fan unrest and all that. And then, like you say, we end up getting involved with someone, you know. What would you call them? We'll call them a business, you know, a group of investors who've been accused of running a Ponzi scheme. And, you know, they've gone from club to club and invested over the last few years. But as soon as it comes to Everton, that was the final straw. They lend us a load of money that they don't have. You know, they borrow it up against, you know, they double pledge on the borrowing, and now they're up in court in New York, and you think, fucking hell. And then you think you've dodged a bullet because you think, oh, good, like they pulled out. We're free of them. Thank God for that. And like you say, you know, a couple of months down the line, they're still hanging around like a bad smell because we're not able to negotiate on that £200 million loan that they gave us because they're getting sued left, right, and centre. So yeah, it's just
It's quite
I think we
ride,
can
isn't
do
it?
anything. We can get through anything, can't we? Really, let's be
Yeah.
honest. Like, I don't think any other fan base could have gone through all that. And I mean, that's only the tip of the iceberg as well. When you think about points deductions, protests against the Premier League, and all that, that's all by the by, innit?
I do like that little sort of side part of the story though, that we actually broke a Ponzi scheme. That's something else, that, isn't it?
Everton, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They messed with one shit club too many there, didn't they? Don't come on us. Couple more books then, just to lift the mood. Stu said Travellers in the Third Reich. It's not for everyone, but found it to be a fascinating read about the rise of fascism in the 30s. Germany seen through the eyes of what are basically tourists. I like the sound of that, to be honest. Tangled Up in Blues, Football Against the Enemy by Simon Cooper. The Miracle of Castel di Sangro. Morbo by Phil Ball. Brilliant Orange by David Winner. And What's Our Name by Mark O'Brien. What's Our Name, Everton by Mark O'Brien. That is a belter book. I've read that. TWS confirmed that Castel di Sangro and What's Our Name are bona fide classics. And he's just been reading Tim Parkinson's A Season with Verona about Italian football. Right up your street, that, Dan.
Love it, yeah.
Go for that one. Dargan said Livy's autobiography, which he mentioned last week, and it sounded very depressing read, but apparently decent. I've got mine here. The 90 series by Johnny Proctor. They're really good. So there's 1996 and Naughty. They're ace. A nice, easy read, How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackey. It's a dead easy read. It's good. Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, The Story of Nike.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good book. Like, it's from the start of Nike and how they got to where they are. And then these two, I would read them together. So, Paper Cuts by Ted Kessler. Any 90s kids into 90s music, read that. And Pandemonium by Simon Williams about Panda Records. The label that found Coldplay and then got screwed over by the big boys after that. So, yeah, they're my recommendations. All good. But I'm definitely getting Dan's recommendation of Killing Thatcher. Just on the last one about the who's coming back to haunt us, TW said John Stead. And then Stephen said, when him and Kevin Davis scored their wonder goals against us, we should have just folded. That should have been the writing on the wall.
John Stead, he was about 15 foot tall, wasn't he?
Oh, ridiculous. Yeah.
Didn't he score? He scored against us for... He scored, like, we bookended his run, didn't we, of scoring Premier League goals. Like,
so
he
one
scored,
was Blackburn, wasn't it?
Yeah, one was Blackburn, and then it was a Sunderland, the other
Sunderland.
one.
Yeah.
But he scored against us, and then that's it. He went to Blackburn for big money, didn't he? Didn't score at all for like a full season's worth of games, and then he came back to Goodison and scored the winner again. And we were like, "What the fuck?"
And I don't think I'll ever get the image of Kevin Davis waltzing through the entire Everton team when he played for Southampton. He wasn't the most graceful fella, let's face it. But my God, he glided through that team there. Dreadful. 2 more to go. We will go with Ben's first, and we'll finish on the Olympic question. So Ben is, tough question after binging many old mailbags. Nice one, Ben. Good luck with that. I'd like to know what are your favourite mailbag moments. Full credit to Dave Downey in particular for never holding back. I never met Big Daddy Dave, but already know so much more than I should. He's not one to overshare, but he is one to overshare.
Missing Big Daddy Dave today, to be honest.
Yeah, we are missing Big Daddy.
We need more leather talk.
We do. There's been a dearth of leather talk on this one. Anyone got any favourite mailbag moments? I do have one in particular.
For me, the first thing that jumped to my, and I think about it to this day, and I've done a few of these, but I think that was one where it did me in. I just couldn't do it. Was when he was going on about milk.
Oh God, yeah.
When Dave was going on about milk, and it was like this combination of beautiful childlike naivety about the joy of milk, but also this intensely borderline erotic, which he has an incredible ability to turn the most innocent and kind of throwaway comment into something that always, and maybe it's my mind, but
no, it's definitely Dave. It's Dave.
It always leads you into this thing. You think, is he? What? Well, you know what I mean? And but because of the way he delivers it with that sort of deadpan, what you're laughing at kind of thing, But the milk thing was just one of the funniest things. And I just remember being on here and I just couldn't stop. And then I went home and I listened to it again. And when he started going on about milk, I was just like, what the hell is going on, man? This is the weirdest shit you know what I mean? But he just loves milk, man.
He got a bit too much, apparently.
Like, serious. It's an OnlyFans account, isn't it? That's what it is.
Straight from the udder.
Pete, have you got one?
Some of mine are probably the ones that we can't talk about because you've had to cut them, and they will all involve Dave. it's those ones where Dave is on one, and then halfway through he sort of goes, "You're gonna have to cut that bit out," and I can't remember specifically, but it happens a lot. Like,
do you know why that is? Right, because whenever anything like that's happened, we all get Matt Jones's voice in our head. Like, you're gonna have to cut that, lads.
The Overlord.
And that's how it goes. Yeah.
We should do like, I think you should keep them all to one side, Les, and just like drop them all one day.
I do need to go through it and cut them all.
Blue Room After Dark.
Yeah.
Director's cut. Yeah.
Mega mix.
The Dave cut.
I think the one that always sticks out for me was back in the days when we used to record it in the tower, the Radio City Tower. And we got Zuzu in for a mailbag. Yeah. I mean, thinking back now, that's just like wild enough anyway. So at the end of it, I said, do you want to plug any live shows you're doing, anything like that? And she said, yeah, I'm going to do Festerfield and Copperfield. And I'm thinking, this sounds a bit risque. So I said, yeah, that all sounds a little bit risque. Don't know what's going on there. And she's like, oh yeah, the breast cancer charity gigs. At which point I just like went, okay, just disappeared within myself. Mike the Ashes sat over like on one of the other tables, just burst out laughing, just completely loses his shit. And yeah, we've still got that clip somewhere, so we'll try and dig it out. But yeah, that wasn't my proudest moment, but it kind of was, because it was like really quite funny.
What happens to Zuzu's song? She did a song for the Blue Room. Bring it back.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Bring back Zuzu.
It was a good one. Yeah. Well, we need to get a loose articles one though.
Oh, I'll tell you what else.
They're the Blue Room band de jour these days.
Some of my favourite Blue Room moments as well are just winding Dave up by just somehow getting in a Dwight McNeil song, or just talk of Dwight McNeil, because I know how much it winds him up. So I think the Christmas time ones were the best.
Oh, they were brilliant with the Dwight McNeil hat.
Yeah. But I love that you always set me up for it as well, Les. It's like you set it up just for me to, knock it down.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's whack it out the park like a Dwight McNeil shot over the bar.
and as ever, if you have got a spare 3 hours and you've got nothing to do, just mention Tim Howard to Dave, and you're good.
Oh yeah,
you're good. Right, we'll finish up on this one then from Tangled Up in Blues. Great question. Which Olympic sports would our players be good at? For example, DCL, the high jump, that vertical spring. So I've got a list of things here. Handball.
Keno.
Yes. Michael Keane's got to be the handball, hasn't he?
Yeah.
For anyone listening, by the way, I just did that thing where Michael Keane slapped his arm. I'm not actually like whacking a vein to shoot up or anything like that. It may have sounded like that, but it wasn't.
The problem is that Michael Keane would probably end up kicking it.
He would as well, wouldn't he?
He gets mixed up, doesn't
he? Golf. Everyone. Because that's what footballers do.
They're all rich footballers, aren't they? They all play golf.
What is
Is golf an Olympic sport now?
It is, apparently, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, right, get on this. Breaking is an Olympic sport, which is breakdancing.
Yeah,
okay. Breakdancing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's doing that?
Who's got the moves now? Iwobi used to have moves, didn't he? But I don't know whether Onana was always...
Onana would have had moves as well, yeah.
Because he used to do his like TikTok dances and all that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Who would have? See, we always come back to Jordan Pickford, don't we? On the answer for every question.
He's the safe answer.
He's the safe answer. But Pickford, I don't think he could do breakdancing. I think he'd just be like, well, he could do any Olympic sport, couldn't he? You just
yeah, he's an
can
answer
just
to any
imagine
of them,
him
really. If you put your mind to it, you can do any of this.
literally, yeah, because he's quite good. He's throwing javelin, a lefty on the javelin. Reckon that'll work. Who's gonna be our sprinters then? If we had a relay for
I don't want to upset you, people, but not White McNeil.
Once he gets going, he's the long distance. He's the marathon. He's the marathon runner because he can run all day. Just not very quick. You got to have Dom in there, haven't you? Got to have Dom in there. Got to have Dom in
rapid. That new lad we signed from Lazio. He looks quick.
Yeah.
Brandtwaite's up there, I think, in terms of pace. Once he gets going again, it's 100 meters too short for him.
He's more 400, 800 maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we've got so many players who are good ones to get up to speed. The problem is we don't ever get up to speed.
Diving.
We don't really have many divers, do we?
Beto.
Oh yeah,
gotta be that.
I don't think he dives though. He just falls over.
At all.
He just falls over. He doesn't mean to dive.
But when you think about it, imagine him on a springboard, Beto. It'd be like, it'd be incredible. There'd just be limbs everywhere.
Now that Patterson's got hench, he could probably do like some sort of clean and jerk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's got dead hench, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's on the roids.
He could be like a Greco-Roman wrestler now.
Oh yeah.
Once he pins you.
Oh,
shot put. I think he'd be good at the shot put.
Oh yeah, the Pato shot put.
Yeah.
Pato shot put.
100%. Cycling. I was thinking former Everton player Anthony Gordon.
I'd be on the side of the road with a stick to throw in between them.
Oh god, yeah. Could be a cue. Swimming.
Ooh.
Now for that, I thought Mikalenko, because his shoulders are massive. He's got to be a good swimmer with shoulders like that.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
You'd hope so.
Mikalenko, yeah. Do you reckon Neil Maupay would be any good at any Olympic sport?
I was trying to find an event for him.
Olympic shithouses.
Yeah, an Olympic gold and shithouses. I like that.
I think someone like James Garner would be like fencing. He's quite wiry. I can just see him in that white thing with the little guard on.
Yeah, quite tricky to get at.
Yeah.
Dodging a little bit.
With his epee or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I'll tell you what then. Let's try and match up the players quickly to the event. Mason Holgate. I think the silence says it all there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We need one for Tarkovsky. What's Tarkovsky going to do?
Boxing.
Oh, I wouldn't want. He's got big ears. If he gets them clipped, he's going to be in agony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have the helmets on, don't they?
They have the guards on. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Floats like a brick, but stings like a bastard.
Ben Godfrey would have been the one for that, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, he's quick.
God, yeah.
Yeah, quick hands, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
What we throwing Ashley Young in?
He'd be all right on the relay, I reckon.
What, like second leg?
Yeah, I was going to say that first bend.
Yeah.
He'd be all right on the relay. Yeah, get him in the relay team.
BMX. Now I thought for this,
Tom Davis would have been the one, wouldn't he? Tom Davis would have
been perfect. Yeah.
I thought Sean Dyche.
Because
he's the only one who's old enough to have a rally burner when he was a kid.
Sean Dyche.
They weighed a ton.
Yeah. They were not exhibition bikes worthy.
No.
They looked amazing. Those yellow mag wheels.
You try and pull a wheelie on a super tough burner, mate. You pull your arms out of the sockets. It's a nightmare.
Do you know what I liked as well? The way they had that little bit of rally padding on the thing that would have done absolutely nothing for you because it was paper thin.
Yeah.
Do you know what's mad though? When you see these kids now going around on the bikes and they're all like going like 30 miles an hour down the road doing the wheelies, When
Yeah.
I was a kid, I could never do a wheelie. I still can't, but like, I mean, I could never quite understand what you were meant to do, but it seems like
No.
they all do it now.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
as I say, like going
And
down the road,
the bikes are all at least a size too big for them as well.
they're massive, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then they've got these electric ones as well.
They're the worst.
Oh, Tanya.
Okay, tell you what, right, we're going to do one last event for Jack Harrison, everyone's favourite winger.
Is there watching paint dry?
He's going to be, well, again, he's quite quick, and he's so relay. He's going to be in our relay team, and but what else is there? What else have we got?
Olympic preening, maybe.
Olympic preening.
He's so preening.
Actually, he's got the hair of a diver, Olympic diver, because they've all got wonderful hair.
Yeah.
You know,
I
like
didn't see that.
Greg Louganis and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
they all had
Tom Daly-esque.
Yeah, like lifeguardish, you know.
That's the one, yeah.
Do you reckon Mason Holgate? What's the one, the horse where they do like the spinny things on top of the
pommel horse.
Pommel horse, because he's got like, you know, he's quite strong, and he's got good upper body strength. I think. Yeah, you know, he's quite trim as well. I think we'll go for that. I'll be honest, the Olympics is not really. I never really bother with it.
Do you know?
Since they binned off all the drugs, it's not worth watching, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, you want to see the peak of human endeavour.
This is what they should do with all these sports. Just give them whatever the fuck they want and just go for it, lads. Just whatever you want to do. Just take whatever you want and do it.
That's it. Well, is there an alternative Olympics where people can just do whatever they want?
Birkenhead Saturday night. Basically.
Melwood or Kirby. Allegedly.
And on that bombshell, we will finish up this week's mailbag. Not the usual Dave bombshell. Dave usually throws a grenade and everyone goes silent, but you know, we've missed it tonight, Dave. We'll have you back soon. Dave's fine, by the way, before anyone starts worrying.
He's just in a bath of milk.
But yeah, cheers, Dan. Cheers, Pete. Thanks to everyone who sent questions in. That has been it for this week's mailbag. We will catch you next week. Have a lovely weekend. Up those toffees.